The Deodar cedar is a species of tree that is recognized for limb failures. So why is that? Why does the Deodar cedar break limbs so often? It's a huge problem tree in our area, and I want to throw out some ideas here, and I want your comments. I want you to tell me what you think about this tree. Is this a tree that you're used to working on? Is this a tree that you see the same problems that I see? Or do you live in an environment where it's not a problem at all? I want the answers, but I need your help. Of all the trees that we work on in the Santa Clara Valley, I would say the number one tree that fails limbs down in the valley area is the Deodar cedar. But I rarely see the whole tree fall down. And I have to ask myself, why is this? Why is this tree so susceptible to limb failures? They don't fall over as a whole tree very often, but the limbs break often. Well, you have to think about this tree. It is not native to our environment. This tree is native to the Himalayas and Pakistan and high elevations, and it grows very different in its native habitat. If you take a tree that is used to some really cold weather and harsh environment that kind of limps along and grows slowly, and you put it down in an environment where it gets lots of sunshine and extra irrigation and good soil and no cold snaps at all hardly, then it's going to grow differently. It's going to grow far too wide. It's going to grow an abundance of cones. It's going to grow heavy branches that snap. And this isn't a big limb that broke on this one. We had a huge one last week that failed. That was it just sheared everything all the way to the ground. I got a call on Friday about a major limb failure on this big Deodar cedar, and it's blocking off the road. My God. It was about a 18-inch diameter limb way up high, and it broke and it took out another big limb. So what can we do to make this tree safer without ruining it? So these cones, there's two types of cones on the tree. You've got the big seed cones, but you've also got the pollen cones. And I find it very different because some trees develop lots and lots of the pollen cones and other trees do not. Now, is it because some trees are half male and half female? Maybe. Some trees create just an abundance of the seed cones, more seed cones than they can handle. And when they're green, they're extra heavy. But I want you to take notice of the way the limbs are growing on this tree. They're growing straight out. I did some weight reduction on the left-hand side, and I took off a lot of limbs over the road already. I still have some on the lower limb over there that I'm going to lighten up. But I've got to get up in the tree and take out this one broken limb. There's also some limbs that are too close to the house. I want to clear those out of the way. But I also want you to pay attention to the relationship of this tree with the redwood tree. Sometimes you'll have branches that'll rest on other branches. This is a shot from underneath the Deodar cedar looking straight up, and you can see that there's very few big limbs growing on the side where the redwood is. And if you look where the redwood is, it's kind of sparse on that side too. So these trees are actually too close together to have a balanced symmetry of foliage all the way around. So does that mean that the foliage on the existing side that's growing grows longer than it would normally? Well, possibly. That's another answer. The limbs that grow straight up and down, they seem to be much, much stronger. It's the ones that grow straight out. And they grow in multiples. So when you have 3 or 4 or 5, you have to think about that. Now you have to do the obvious choices first. The branches that are rubbing on each other, they need to come out. That big cut was what was left of the branch that cracked and bent over. Now, close to where we were working, it was a stump of a podocarpus that had a very aggressive fungus that was basically dissolving the stump. And it was interesting that the fungus was actually going out and spreading across the ground as well as just the wood. You can see it goes quite a ways. And there were 2 very dead birch trees, but that's for another video. I took those down. I've got some good shots of that one as well. And here's what the tree looks like when we're all done. It still looks very, very natural. Each heavy limb has been lightened. So when you look at that tree, the last picture of the tree, and you look at it and you say, oh, it doesn't look like it did very much. Well, ideally, that's what I want the tree to look like. It doesn't want to look as it's been hacked. I did take a tremendous amount of weight out of that tree, but it was taking each individual branch and getting out 1 or 2 of the heaviest portions of it and leaving the balance of the tree to remain virtually the same.